Anyways, I'm curious to see. I didn't get a chance to see this video. I was kind of holding off to watch this video. But I think it's a good time to watch the video now from Legendary Drops or so about the High Guard game that's coming out later in January, which is later this month. So it'll be very interesting to see how the game is going to be doing. Honestly, I'm on the fence of trying it out, to be honest. I really am. It's just the thing is, like, I'm just not a huge fan of, like, hero shooters. I'm not really a huge fan of them. I don't find them very fun and entertaining. It's kind of like, it's like very short term, like, entertainment, you know? So that's kind of like basically it. Yeah, no worries. Take care, hun. Yeah, no worries, no worries, no worries.
The Game Awards have come and gone. Expedition 33 received its flowers. We watched as indie games dominate.
Oh, yeah, I also need to edit that video too as well, the full Let's Play of Expedition 33. Hopefully I can be able to do it this weekend. That's what I'm worried. Will play day one, do it for the content. I don't know,
not only in nominations, but also awards, and we were showered in incredible trailers from the return of Tomb Raider to Larian Studios' next game,
there were a lot of
Divinity.
good trailers.
Man, was that one worth it.
Like, they're not specifically for me, but, you know, I can still appreciate it, though. You know, there is a fan base for those games, and you know what? I can appreciate them at the end of the day, so.
At the end of the show, Jeff Keighley comes out and really lays it on thick. And he shows us High Guard, a PvP hero shooter. What were they thinking? Especially following the Divinity trailer. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And he had all the fanfare, all the anticipation. Man, did that guy want to make sure he sold that game. It was the last spot of the night, normally where we would typically see a really big heavy hitter, a major reveal, and they just pretended like it was something that we were begging for. All the while showing us something that
when I heard that it was going to be like the studio that made you Titanfall and Apex Legends and everything, you know, comes a new game. But then when they said by a new studio, I was just kind of like, I immediately, the moment they said new studio, I immediately clicked out. Maybe the game will get you to rant like with me with Lords of the fuck that game. You really think so? You think I'm gonna have like PTSD like you with Lords of the Fallen?
Seen a million times by now. The same music, the same slow motion hero animations showing their powers and all of that good stuff. It was just like Concord's trailer in more ways than you actually think, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. And I've seen a lot of feedback surrounding this game. People are not very happy. Most people are just kind of sick and tired of a lot of this stuff. I've seen the developers having a really hard time with it on social media. A lot of people also rushing to defend them, trying to create a pillow fort.
I heard also on top of that some of the people who were at Firewalk Studios who made Concord, some of those developers are over in this game specifically, so apparently, rumor has it. I'm not too sure if it's actually concrete proof or anything like that, but that's what I heard.
To defend them from all the toxic gamers. You know, it's just the streamers and the YouTubers that are the problem. These aren't real opinions. It's just manufactured hate more than anything else. Not listening to the players. You know, that's worked out a lot for these guys in the past, hasn't it? All they are is just protecting a game that is clearly destined for failure. You have to learn from these lessons. So today, I'm talking about why that is. I'm talking about the fate of this game. I'm talking about all the bad decisions that these guys made up to the release of this game, why this game is such a bad idea, why people hate it, why people are defending it, and why I don't think this is the last time we're going to see it. This video is sponsored by Arknights Enfield, coming out January 22nd. This is a full 3D real-time strategy action RPG set on...
Anyways.
The Game Awards lives and dies by trailers. Every single year, it's the same cycle. Rumors, wish casting, people convincing themselves that this is finally the night for Bloodborne 2 or Half-Life 3. And because of that, the final trailer carries extra weight. It's supposed to be the big one. Jeff Keighley really leaned into that hard. He reminded everybody that the last slot is saved for something special, teased that this game was being made in secret, and then dropped the pedigree. Former Respawn developers, the people behind Titanfall and Apex Legends, breaking away from AAA. Expectations spiked, the room went dark, the trailer rolled, and what followed was the most aggressively generic reveal we saw the entire night.
Yeah.
Highguard is a PvPvE hero-based shooter where you are playing as wardens fighting over territory and raiding enemy strongholds. On paper, honestly, fine, but the problem is that none of that actually comes through in the trailer. What does come through is how...
Apparently, like, from what you guys told me or so, apparently it's like a MOBA shooter-esque? MOBA, I guess? Question mark?
Completely interchangeable, all of this feels. The same abilities, the same pacing, the same presentation that we have seen a dozen times by now. It's pulling straight from the Valorant playbook right down to the silhouettes and the cooldown-driven combat. The character that they led with honestly looks like John video game. Zero identity, zero personality, a lot like the whole game. The entire time that I was watching this trailer, I had this nagging feeling that I had seen this before. Not just like, oh, it's another live service shooter. No, I mean, like, I've literally seen this before, and it didn't click for me.
I know for a fact Shroud is going to be playing this 100%. Generic hero shooter, let's go. Like, at the end of the day, it is a hero shooter. Like, you have heroes, even though they say specifically in their trailer, or I think what Jeff Keighley said specifically, I don't know which one it was or so, it's supposed to revolutionize the FPS genre scene. I'm like, what can you, like, there's not really much you can revolutionize the FPS genre scene, you know? Ball and gun gamers eating good with this one? I don't know about that one, Chief. They'll probably get sponsored for like one day to do the stream, or for like a couple hours or something like that, and then never play it ever again. That's just kind of like how these Twitch streamers are at the end of the day.
So the ice roll slammed into the ground, and then my brain immediately clicked and said, oh no, this is Concord. That is definitely Concord. So I went back and I compared the trailers, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. The hero ability introductions are damn near identical. The pacing and the percussion-heavy music is just about the same. The rhythm of the cuts, the way the abilities are framed.
I need to see the trailer for Concord again and the trailer for this Highguard again. I need to look at them both, to be honest. It's been a while since I've seen the Concord trailer.
The timing of, oh, look how cool this character is moments, it all lines up perfectly. If you start splicing the two trailers together, you genuinely start to lose track of which game you're watching unless you're paying close attention. I don't know if they outsource some of the same assets, but you cannot wash the Concord stink off of this thing. I mean, these guys are already falling into the exact...
I'm gonna, you know what would be crazy? If the gamers actually, like, vote for their time or so. It's not even their wallet because it's a free-to-play game, right? It would be crazy to see if it actually does fail literally on the same level as Concord, and it gets shut down in like 2 weeks.
Same trap that buried Concord. This is a hero shooter with completely unremarkable characters.
Yeah, if it was like a Borderlands type of game, you know, a Borderlands competitive type of game, you know, FPS, hero, you know, looting, grabbing, online shooter kind of type of thing, then yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'd give it a try. I would give it a try. But since it's a hero shooter, I'm just kind of like, the problem is, it's like the hero shooter genre is just also niche, with the same as the extraction shooter games. You know, the extraction shooter games also has a very niche community. Same thing with the hero shooters. It's a very niche. It's popular for like the moment it'll be released, but then it's just kind of like it'll start dying down almost immediately, you know? So
characters, they're not offensively bad this time, they're not hideous, but they're just safe, polished, inoffensive, and instantly forgettable. Not a single character jumps out at you or makes you say, you know what, I am curious to play them. The abilities are all things that we've seen before, the powers blur together, and yet this trailer has the nerve to say that it is a new breed of shooter when it looks exactly like 10 other games from the past year.
That literally is,
and clearly
right there.
Players are feeling the same way. The reaction online was immediate. People started calling it Concord 2 almost instantly. Others were furious that the game somehow got the final slot of the show. Dead on Arrival has become the default label for the game. IGN's upload is sitting at over 300,000 views right now with over 40,000 dislikes and barely 4,000 likes. The trailer is getting absolutely cooked on social.
If if my YouTube audience wants me to play this game, because remember, right? If my YouTube audiences really wants me to try out the game when it comes out, I will try out the game when it comes out. I will try it out and everything, and I will give you my own to like I said, I like giving games a try at the end of the day, even though I'm not gonna enjoy them. I know for a fact I'm not gonna like this game just because it's a hero shooter, and I'm just not a huge fan of hero shooters. But I will give it a benefit of the doubt and actually give you actual critiques, and not just like oh, this game is trash because of this and that. No, I will actually give like an actual reasonable reason why I hate it and why I like and what I hate, you know? So why would the YouTube audiences be so cruel? You asking the frogs instead of us? Brother in Christ, I already know what you guys are asking immediately, dumbass, okay? I don't need to hear it from you, okay? I already know your guys' answer. Do it after Expedition Chinese? Well, I don't know if the game will even survive 2 weeks after, you know, when it gets launched. You know, it could have a Concord moment, you know?
Social media, ratioed and reposts, side-by-side comparisons everywhere. Characters are getting dragged for looking like knockoff versions of existing heroes, like the sniper, who is basically just a blonde version of Anna from
That's
Overwatch.
crazy.
And then you've got Tomb Raider developers that are getting universal praise right now for revealing that they've been working on the game, while Highguard developers are announcing that they can finally talk about theirs, and they are being met with nothing but backlash, to the point that some of them are just
day one of being the game dev with a public facing game, and I got 75 plus quote retweets personally ripping me apart simply for being excited to share what I poured myself into for years. Lock the account for the time being. Honestly, you probably need to go back to the drawing board, in my personal opinion, with this one. That's all I gotta say. So yeah, you might want to go back to the drawing board for this one.
straight up going private. So yeah, not a great response, and definitely not the one you're hoping for after spending some serious money on putting your trailer on the biggest stage in the entire industry. The Game Awards now reportedly pulls in more viewers.
Honestly, it shouldn't have never been revealed at the end. It really shouldn't have. It should have been revealed at least somewhere in the middle of like the award. I'd be like, oh, okay, all right, that's pretty cool. But you know, but have like either, you know, Divinity be announced at the end. Maybe the Tomb Raider game be announced at the end, but like I said, you know, they kind of spoiled it because they revealed it or so, which is, I think, personally, the host should not be like literally like exposing what games are being revealed for the Game Awards. I think that should be a prohibited thing that they should never do, to be honest. Divinity would have been the best one to be an end closer. Either that one or the Republic one, the Star Wars Old Republic game that's being announced, that was just announced at like what, at the beginning of the stream or so of the Game Awards. Any of those would have been fine, to be honest, for a nice little secret, you know, wow, like a secret reveal or something like that, you know. But I think personally they should have not said that, you know, there's a new Tomb Raider game being made, you know. Be like, no, you shouldn't really have said anything. I like it when the award show is a surprise, you know, that I don't know what games are coming out, you know, like what's being announced or anything like that. I like to keep it surprised, but they freaking announced it, and it's just kind of like, why did you do that? Why? Don't do that. Like, that's not the whole point. Like, we want to be surprised because we want to see what games are coming out to be surprised. But then if you're gonna just spoil the all the trailers, I might as well just post the list on Twitter and then just call it a day, you know, of like what games are going to be announced, and that's it, you know. Just be like, announce it on Twitter, announce who won the awards or so for it, and then that's it. You don't have to put up a show every single time. Just don't do it. Just never, don't even do it. I think people come to watch the show or so for the surprise of the games and expectation to see like, oh, what game is going to be announced this time around, or like people are guessing, you know.
In the Super Bowl, and getting your trailer on the show is not cheap. Anywhere from $450,000 to over $1 million, depending on its length.
Jesus.
That's before we factor in how much it costs for them to buy out the final slot of the night, the spot that's reserved for the biggest, most anticipated reveals. That is an insane gamble, and in this case, it is completely blown up in their face. Now, I've heard some people say that the trailer placement is the problem, and sure, I guess kind of. I mean, if this thing had shown up earlier in the night, there wouldn't have been nearly as much anticipation that
No.
was riding behind it, and also it probably wouldn't have been directly contrasted to some of the genuinely exciting reveals
Yeah.
that we had seen. I mean, how do you follow up that Divinity trailer? But let's be honest here,
Yeah.
regardless of where that trailer was placed, it still would have been just as forgettable. The backlash here is not some mystery puzzle that the internet needs to solve. The biggest issue that we have is the expectations that this studio set for themselves. This is supposed to be an independent studio.
Nah, we the ball and gun delegation demand for spoilers for mid-game. Your mom is a mid-game because she doesn't know how to suck dick every night, okay? I don't want to hear it from you, sir.
breakaway team, former EA employees, more importantly, former Titanfall developers branching off to
That's
go
the
and
thi-
do their
yeah.
own thing. And what do they
That's the
come back
problem.
with? The safest, most corporate thing imaginable. The kind of live service hero shooter that we have
Yep.
come to expect from moronic and repetitive AAA publishers following the tail of everyone else. Not
It should have been Titanfall. It should have been Titanfall. People have been craving for a new Titanfall game. This would have been actually, you want to know something? If they would have announced a new Titanfall game coming out in 2026, like straight up, it would kill Call of Duty. Do you play Marvel Rivals? Yeah, I do, but like I haven't installed the game in a long time though, so. But yeah. It should have been Bloodborne. I just keep dreaming on that one, to be honest. But to be honest, if it would have been Titanfall, right? You have Titanfall, right? You got Battlefield already, and you got Arc Raiders already beating the crap out of Call of Duty already. If you had like what Arc Raiders, Battlefield, already kicking the shit out of Call of Duty, and then you bring in Titanfall to do the finishing blow. And then you got GTA 6 coming out later this year. I mean, later in 2026. Well, Call of Duty would not stand a chance. Like straight up, Call of Duty would actually fail miserably. But no, they decided to make High Guard, and it's just kind of like, I'm just kind of like, I'll try it out. Like I said, if my YouTube audiences wants to see actual gameplay and like my actual two opinions on it, like I'll probably upload like I don't know, maybe like a 2 hour like VOD gameplay of me playing it and see what I think about it. I think maybe like what 2 to 3 hours. I'll probably get used to the game or so. That's about it.
from a studio that escaped that system. And that's the part that makes no sense to me. And this is likely what pissed people off the most. You escaped. You are free. You're supposed to be the ones that are making games for us, not for the fucking machine. Why wouldn't you make something actually different? Something that players clearly want. You fly the flag of Titanfall for the reputation it gives you, but not for the meaning behind it. The audience behind that game did not disappear. It's been ignored. You know what? Who am I kidding? Of course, the only person that clearly sees that need is some random solo developer that's making a diesel punk mech shooter off of Kickstarter money and a YouTube channel. Seriously, go check out Diesel Nights. That guy actually gets us. I went back and actually watched.
Wait, he's making a Titanfall-esque inspired game? I'd probably give that a try, actually. Oh, I actually would give that a try.
His trailer after watching the High Guard reveal, and it is night and day. It's so distinct, it's so messy and unrefined and raw, and it just feels human. And watching that back just made it even more obvious how few people in this industry genuinely understand the art anymore, or even the audience that they're supposed to be making games for. High Guard takes absolutely no creative risk. None at all. The only thing that they're doing is just gambling with their own financial security at this point.
I would give that a try.
This thing plays it as safe as humanly possible. It's just another PvPvE live service game wearing the skin of past achievements, trading almost entirely on, hey, remember what we used to work on? And it's like I said before when we first saw Concord. When a game introduces itself as from the former developers of, especially from studios like Bungie, Activision, or EA, that's basically become a red flag for me. Not always, there are some outliers, and Embark Studios is an obvious one, but more often than not, there is a reason that they are former developers. And in this case, they couldn't even spot the warning signs in their own game, let alone stay in step with what players are actually into right now, or even learn from the pile of failed live service launches that we've already seen just this year. Honestly, the only real risks that this studio took were all the wrong ones. They spent 4 years developing this game in total secret. No early footage, no tests, no public feedback, nothing. If they had shown anything earlier, and I mean anything, they could have gauged player reaction and course corrected. Instead, they went all in on blind confidence, dropped a reveal trailer, and then just announced a full release barely a month out, putting themselves in a completely
Yeah.
unnecessary do or die situation. And I'm telling you right now, if you are making a live service game, you have to involve the audience as early as possible. You cannot afford to
Do
spend years
betas,
and
you
millions of
know?
dollars building something just to find out at the very end that nobody wants it. I mean, Arc Raiders did multiple closed alphas. They ran a beta well before the game even came out. Hell,
Yeah.
even Marathon is out here involving players and has made visible changes based on their feedback. When I see studios that are skipping that step entirely, especially in live service, it tells me exactly who this game is being made for, and it's not the players. I realize that the developers for Highguard are likely combing social media right now, looking for feedback. That's a little bit too late, seeing as though your game's going to be coming out a month from now. Looking at social media posts, obviously, because they're probably
Imagine
a little
announcing
bit
it
too
in
difficult to
January, like
ignore
literally
at
the
this
next
point.
month.
And I hope you're listening right now. This is the feedback. This is the frustration of a real customer. Somebody that was a fan of Titanfall. I want you to know
Should have been.
that the
Should have been
expectations
Titanfall. It
set
really
upon
should
you
have been
are higher than
Titanfall.
that than AAA games. We don't expect shit from them
I'm
anymore.
disappointed, to be
We
honest.
do expect more from you, somebody that escaped that. We expect that you're going to be trying to make something that we're going to actually want. We're expecting more from your freedom to create, not from you just to go and make more of the same. If you're trying to figure out why people are so upset, why they're so quick to just toss your game to the side, that's exactly why. We know that AAA game studios are not looking out for our best interests. We know that they're not trying to make games for us. They're just trying to make games for profit. We have the
Well, they're kind of making games for like the wrong audience at the end of the day. You know, like what, especially like what Asmongold said, right? Like they're making games for like specifically the girls who just kind of like play Candy Crush or play like, you know, those kind of like very 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 minute games, you know. And it's kind of like it, you know, you're supposed to be catering to like the actual gamers who enjoy, you know, what you made in the past, you know. But if you're not going to make it for them, it's just kind of like, well, you just kind of really betrayed your fan base, and it's just kind of like, well, we're not going to play it because it's not for us. I don't know whose game this is for, but it's definitely not for us, so we're just going to keep continuing playing, you know, Titanfall 2 private servers.
That those that are operating outside of that system are looking out for our best interests, that are trying to make games that we actually want to play, that are trying to do everything they possibly can. We need that light. We need that because it's our last thread of trust that a lot of people have in this industry right now. And if you betray that, that is a very real betrayal, especially in the eyes of a lot of players right now. And if we start seeing a lot of studios that break off from AAA just to go out and essentially continue to just feed the same system, well, you're now betraying the trust that other studios deserve. How did you think that these Temu designs would somehow draw in players? I'm blown away by that. How do you not learn from any of the live service failures that we've seen, not only just this year, but just over the past 5 years? And how do you guys go into secrecy, developing a game for 4 years, and then just drop it into the market and hope it succeeds?
There's also another thing too as well that came to my mind or so. So it's supposed to be a hero shooter game, right? Like a hero style with like, I guess you could say like because apparently it's hinting that it's MOBA elements in it. But it's like, okay, you have Overwatch, right? How many of those players are going to leave Overwatch to go play a new game? How many players are going to leave Marvel Rivals to go play Highguard? How many, you know, what's another hero shooter game that's out in the wild right now? I'm trying to think of them off the top of my head. I think there'll be some that will try it out for like a day or two, and then they'll just go back to playing, you know, their Overwatch game, their Marvel Rivals game, their, you know, insert whatever other hero shooter game, you know, that is going to be. Because I know that Splitgate was also trying to be a hero shooter as well. Fortunately enough, they reverted back. Apparently, that's what I've heard. Like they kind of like pretty much revert everything kind of back to the way it was. Because it failed miserably. And then I don't know what other specific one. Oh my God, Lawbreakers! Lawbreakers was a game, all right. To be honest, that one was a canonically failure of a game back then. I wanted to try it out, but I never got the chance to try it out. But it would have been nice to try it out one of the, to see what the game was. But oh well.
You know, this reminds me of what is it? Splitgate. Yeah. It
There you
reminds me
go.
of Splitgate.
Yeah.
They had a really cool concept. They had their, arena shooter. People really enjoyed it. And then these guys sold out
There's all
and wanted to be
portals.
just like AAA.
Yeah.
Killed their original game and then went and made a live service battle royale.
Ugh.
We know what you're doing. We know what you want. We can smell you a mile away. We don't want to have anything to do with it. I've seen a lot of
If I
people
ever make
already
an
rushing to
FPS
come
game,
and
I'm never
defend this
making a battle royale.
developer and all the different developers that are working for them, trying to say
Because the reason why, right? The reason why, because this is the problem that's having with Battlefield as well, right? At least to my knowledge specifically, apparently with Battlefield 1, there for season 1 anyways, I mean Battlefield 6, sorry. Battlefield 6 with season 1, right? There's not enough content for that specific season. There's only like what, two new maps, one reskin map, and a battle pass, and then whatever other shenanigans they added or so. Like I said, there might be a little bit more, but I'm not too sure. I only played like 2 maps or so, at least 2 of the new maps. I still think both of the new maps are not that great. I personally dislike them. And that's kind of basically it. And the problem is because like they made a battle royale game mode with season 1 as well, and a lot of people disliked it or so because they didn't want a battle royale game because what is it, Respawn is trying to grab the attention of the Warzone players, but it's like you're not gonna make them leave from Call of Duty because there's a lot of elements what makes Battlefield that Call of Duty players hate. Call of Duty players likes the twitchy movement, likes the cocaine, with your head cut off chicken kind of movement. And then you have the crazy wacky skins as well that they love. As on top of that, they love how like easily, Call of Duty can easily be cheated on with their Cronus Zen and their Zeus and their whatever other thing. There's no vehicles as well in the Warzone, as in like, what I'm talking about, as in like I'm talking about like the tanks and and all that other specific thing, right? They have that in Battlefield, but they don't have that in Call of Duty because they hate it, because apparently people were complaining or so about a certain gun that had a mounted LMG on it, and then they got rid of it in Warzone. Apparently that's what happened. They didn't like it because it was too overpowered. So then they started listening to the Call of Duty community, and then that's basically what happened. You're not gonna get them to leave from their Warzone game or their Call of Duty game. Once they're addicted to that like Call of Duty game, they're not going to leave and play, Battlefield. It's the same thing with this game. You're not gonna make them leave from the game that they love, the hours that they spend in it, the money that they spend in it with their skins and all this other shenanigans, and the amount of time they like literally like put time into it. They're not gonna leave that game to play high guard. They're just not gonna do the same thing. It's just kind of obvious what they're trying to do. Well, the funny thing about it is the same studio who made Apex anyways at the end of the day.
that it's all fake outrage. It's just streamers and YouTubers that are feeding people their
They
opinion.
managed to get it with Apex, but unfortunately Apex is not doing very well, at least at the very moment, at least from what I've hearing anyways. But the problem is like there's only so many games that could fit in the pie. At that point, you gotta go find your piece in a different pie at that point, because it's gonna become too saturated. There's already a problem like that in the gacha community already. The gacha community is already becoming a little bit too saturated with these 3D AAA-esque type of games already,
Based, by the way, as long as you're getting those opinions from the right people. That it's all just hate for the sake of hate. And what that ignores is that this outrage, or maybe not the outrage itself, but the frustration is not manufactured. It's not artificial. It is very real, and you have to be listening to it. And If this industry continues to dismiss it, if people continue to protect these developers, we're going to keep seeing this happen over and over again. And I think that's going to keep happening. It's actually kind of wild right now looking around and seeing that most of games media is more or less in agreement on this, not defending the game, not running interference, just documenting what's happening. And honestly, that is
Really?
refreshing. It
That's
feels
a
like a
shocker,
rare
to be
moment where this
honest.
industry is
Usually these people would defend the game. I'm surprised they actually are not trying to do damage control or trying to defend the game or calling gamers, you know, bigots, racist, and all these other terminologies that they like to throw around, to be honest. The buzzwords, basically.
starting to remember who it actually serves, the players, not itself. But
I'm
on social
surprised.
media,
I'm, like,
it is a
actually genuinely
completely different
surprised.
story. You have people that are rushing to gas up these developers, telling them to just ignore the criticism, dismissing all the backlash outright. And once again, this feels eerily similar to Concord. I really started to
Yeah.
notice it when I saw a post from one of the developers who had gone protected, constantly retweeting praise, amplifying.
Well, hold on. Let me see. Hold up. People pumping money and time into Marvel Rivals, but gamers are mad and an experienced team is taking a crack at a new PvP shooter. I haven't had time to swift through the skepticism. What's the short of it? I don't have a clear impression / expectation of High Guard yet. My guess.
Amplifying a handful.
Honestly, first shooter of this type that looked interesting to me. I'm sorry you didn't get your Final Fantasy / Gears of War / Fable / God of War sequel, but be serious, this game looks better than you want it to be. I see. I see.
Positive takes, feeding into this idea that the outrage isn't real, that people just need to calm down, stop reacting, and that none of this is justified. And then you got a handful of pundits that are out there that are piling on, openly patronizing players for just having opinions. One example that really stuck out to me was a former IGN writer, Fran Mirabella, who had posted a video criticizing the reaction to High Guard, first writing an opening saying, unscripted vent, exhausted by predictable drama gamer reactions over High Guard. You gotta be pretty dumb to compare this to Concord and think that the gameplay is anything like it. Can we?
Yeah, but you have allegedly you have some of the developers from Concord that is working on this game apparently. So I'm just saying, allegedly. I don't know if it's true. Someone can tell me if it is true or not. If it is true, I'm just saying.
Go back to playing games before we place 50-50 bets on their doom and trashing the artist's vision?
My favorite part about this High Guard stuff is that everybody talking about this nonsense with Concord has like clearly never played Concord and doesn't even understand the gameplay that they're seeing.
Oh man, dude. I don't know where these people are coming from, but man, dude, you can't be serious with this. Holy Kofi of Batman.
There's a bit of hyperbole there. People are just overreacting, but like, nobody played Concord, right? I did, by the way. But now they just want to listen to their favorite streamers.
Hey, I'm just letting you know, Concord private servers is happening. I'm just letting you know. You can play it again if you want to, you know, since you played it, you know, you probably enjoyed it, you know. So I'm just letting you know.
And whine about, oh man, this looks like trash, bro. It looks so like unoriginal. What are you talking about? Yes, I definitely think you can see a lot of these Apex inspirations and all that stuff.
Apex inspiration from where? Where's the Apex inspiration from? I can tell you Critty has more experience with Apex than I do, and she can tell you immediately where's the similarity in this. Like, she can even tell me there is no similarity between this and Apex Legends.
But like, this is clearly, you know, a PvP game with these PvE elements, right? You got all of these PvE elements going on, and it looks like what it's going to be, right? You can have these PvP clash points.
Just letting you know, Critty, that's the trailer of the game right there. This is supposed to be from the it's a second studio that is basically from the creators of Apex Legends, right, and Titanfall. And then this guy is trying to say that, like, you know, oh yeah, there's a lot of comparison with Apex Legends and this game, you know. So yeah, it's coming out in January. It's coming out later in January. So this is what they made basically.
To make it to the end, but you're doing stuff like, blowing up buildings, setting off like reactors. You have powers where you're like smashing through stuff. You've got to get keys maybe to get through next sections. Like, it's not a bad idea. So like, I don't know what everybody's whining about without playing it, but I'm just so exhausted with that part of the gaming discussion at this point. It's ridiculous, man.
I just want hot women and hot men in my video games and just call it a day. That's all I really care about. Okay, just give me my hot guys, give me my hot girls, and I'll be satisfied. Okay, all right, just give me a good gameplay game with a cohesive story that's pretty good, I'm not saying that give me like the top of the cream of the crop story, something just good, and just give me some really good looking characters, and that's it.
I don't know if it's going to be any good, but maybe we should play it and hear about people playing it first before we start calling it Concord. And again, like, you got to be pretty dumb if you think that this game is anything like the gameplay in Concord.
I love how fast all criticism gets dismissed. Not just the trailer, but the audience itself. Just blame the streamers, blame the YouTubers. Problem solved. And also, yeah, no shit, the people that are comparing the game to Concord never played Concord. Nobody played that game. Less than 25,000 people even bought it, and it was shut down in under a week. Yeah, that should have been the lesson right there. When players decide that they don't like what they're seeing, they just don't show up.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't give Concord a chance, and if they're reacting the exact same way right now, the ending is already written unless you change it. And nobody played Concord. I did, by the way. What a line that is. Incredibly pretentious, by the way. As if that gives you any higher understanding of the reveal. This is a criticism about what was shown. And instead of just dealing with that, you immediately start jumping to talking about mechanics that the trailer never even explained. Keys, PvE systems, clash points, stuff that you're just filling in yourself because you feel like it needs to be there to be able to justify your point. Then you turn around and tell the players that they need to wait and give the game a chance? No, we don't need to wait. This was the chance. This was the moment where you got to show the people what the game was, and they honestly reacted in the way that you saw, and treating that reaction like anything else, treating it like it's illegitimate in some way, is exactly how we get games like Concord. Game developers, if you are watching this right now, do not under any circumstances ever listen to people like this. Do not listen to the people that are trying to protect you. Listen to the people that are trying to criticize you. Gamers do not always articulate their criticisms well. Sometimes it's going to come out cynical, hostile, even ugly at times, but it is your job to extract the signal from the noise instead of getting offended by it. I'm going to hit you guys with some pretty heavy truth. You are not just making art, you are making consumer products, something that is meant to be sold, played, monetized, and sustained. When feedback at this scale is so overwhelmingly negative, people that are telling you that it's fine or that the players are wrong.
Imagining like just listening to gamers and making products for the gamers, just imagine just making a product that people that want to buy, but instead you don't make it because you're trying to grab someone else's attention instead of the actual core people in the genre. Is like, well, they'll just probably take their money and go somewhere else instead. They'll just take their hard-earned cash and just spend it on something else.
Are not helping you. They're not trying to save your studio. They are setting you up for failure. The people that are rushing to defend you right now are not doing it.
I can't wait to see the YouTubers that I watch or so get sponsored for this game, and then they never touch it ever again.
Because they care about your games. They are doing it because it makes them feel better, because it feeds their sense of moral superiority.
There's nothing wrong
you
with
can
it,
hear the contempt in the way that these people are saying they are sick of the outrage, or the way that they blame it on content creators instead of just engaging with the criticism itself. That is pure dismissal, and it is something that we have seen over and over again in this industry. Content creators do not create taste. We do not manufacture opinions. We amplify what is already there. We are a lightning rod for public sentiment, not a source of it. And this idea is especially common in games journalism, that outrage content is what makes people popular. It's just wrong. It always has been. That stuff never lasts. I do not tell people what to think. People do not take my word as gospel. They watch because something I am saying is lining up with what they already feel. That resonance is what creates that audience. Not manipulation, not outrage farming, just recognition. And pretending otherwise is a convenient way for you to avoid dealing with why so many people are reacting the same way at the same time. This is just what modern customer feedback looks like. It's loud, it's messy, it's uncomfortable, and if you don't learn how to deal with it honestly, if you hide from it, or if you just let other people explain it away for you, your game is going to fail and your studio is going to follow. The real danger here is not the players, it's listening to platforms and pundits that do not carry any of the risk, that don't ship the game, that don't rely on the retention, that don't eat the consequences when the players walk away. And we already have the evidence of this. There is a growing pile of failed games and shuttered studios that followed that exact advice, ignoring the backlash, dismissing the criticism, trusting these narrative managers instead of the audience. These people that gave the advice, they're just fine. The studios weren't. So if you're a developer right now, understand this clearly. Listening to players might be uncomfortable, but listening to pundits who do not suffer from your game's fallout is how your games die. I've talked about this in a lot of other videos, but live service right now is an incredibly dangerous space to step into. I understand why studios are chasing it, the money, the visibility, the upside when it all works, but as this industry continues to get more crowded, as more teams step in to keep copy and pasting the same...
Well, the only reason why they're trying to step into it specifically is because not a lot of people are buying like the AAA games, and they're kind of like buying the indie games, but then at the same time, right, plays devil's advocate. Instead of spending, like, investing so much money or so to make a AAA game, why not just cut the funding like in half or a quarter of that, and just make a AA game instead? You know, to get that profit in return. You know, to double your profits. But instead, they like to, you know, they have this like maña, you know, that's how you say it in Spanish or so. They have this maña that they wanted to fucking put everything all on black, everything all on red, everything all at once, everything all in. Because in Spanish it's called, tiene una maña que ellos quieren poner todo el dinero juntos. Basically, it's like getting all the money all together and just put it all in one project, you know? Spending over like hundreds of millions of dollars or so to develop a game or so, and they're not even getting that profit in return, you know? Instead of just like, okay, how do we maximize profit? Okay, let's work with this budget. Let's try to make a AA game, and let's work with the resources that we got and hire people that are pretty much outside, you know. Sorry, I'm gonna have to call this out. California, to be honest. Just because like it's kind of inflated too much, and it's super expensive to hire devs or so from California and put them on a payroll and everything like that. It's better to, you know, outsource it and hire some people that are in other countries that can help you out, you know, to make the game itself. I'm just saying, with a more or less cost, and you'll probably be getting more money in return when you do something like that. And even if it does fail, you don't lose that much profit compared to you spending over hundreds of millions of dollars in a AAA game that you're probably not even going to crack even, to be honest. Like, it's going to take a really long time to even bother cracking even.
Designs, as attention and spending get tighter, these games are going to come under harsher and harsher scrutiny and far more visceral backlash, and these guys are earning it. We have watched this exact thing happen in open world games. They were sold as the future of the industry. Every single publisher needed to have one. Then everyone also needed to have several of them at one point in time for some odd reason. And over time, the ideas dried up. The world's got bigger than the actual games deserve. Everything started to just feel like busy work, and players just checked out of it entirely. Not because open worlds were bad, but because the industry wouldn't stop flooding the market with hollow versions of the exact same thing. That's where live service is right now. Players are tired. Yes, there are successes. I'm not denying that. Marvel Rivals, Arc Raiders, Battlefield 6, but look at where most players are spending their time right now. Older games, familiar games, things that they can trust, because the rest of the market is just imitation piled on top of imitation. And players can tell when something is actually being made out of the love for the genre or the audience. They know when that game is being made for their wallet. And once they clock that, they're gone. There is such an insane desire for players to be wrong today, and I find it so disgusting because it's coming from a place of pure entitlement and narcissism from an industry that has largely not had to deal with feedback or pushback at this scale. And I've seen people talk about how gaming discourse never used to be like.
Take care, Critty. Be safe. Thank you for coming by as always. Very much appreciate it. So you take care, honey. You be safe. Get some good rest.
That it's all just Twitch streamers and YouTubers. That is such a lie. I worked at GameStop many years ago for like 4 years. I can guarantee you that these conversations have always been happening. They were just happening in private conversation and also in forums. But now they're on a public stage. They're plastered in front of everyone in glorious harmony and unison. And these guys just don't know how to be able to deal with that. You have to understand that players today will do anything they possibly can. They will say anything they can to make sure that the games they want to play come out and the games that they don't want to play disappear. I do my best to try to communicate in these videos that any of the topics that I discuss or how I even discuss them is never coming from a place of spite.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to do is make sure
Educate.
that the games industry understands this is just the nature of discourse today. This is the nature of customer discourse today. And they have to get it through their thick skulls that you need to be able to just face this, understand it, listen to it, and then turn that into valuable feedback for you to be able to make games that people actually want to play. These are consumer products. If you're trying to make these things for just the sake of the art, that's fine. Don't expect to be able to make a profit off of it. I'm not saying that the art can't exist. Obviously, I want the art to exist. I'm somebody that appreciates the art side of a lot of these games, but if you're just purely making it for the art, do not expect to make a profit. And definitely do not prop it up with a live service model where you need constant engagement for your game to be able to stay up and for your studio to be able to stay open. I'm sorry, but looking at a game like, I almost said Concord, looking at a game like High Guard, they sound the same.
I gotta look at the
that is
trailers
a game
for
that's being
both of
made
them,
for
to
profit.
be honest, I really do.
Pure and simple.
I have
Everybody
to do a
can see it.
comparison.
You do not make a free-to-play game if that's not your aim. Everybody knows that. And artistry is definitely not the aim for these guys. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made the characters look like they do. So I don't know what you're talking about there. My best advice for High Guard is when this game goes to its release, make that a beta instead, and then push the release indefinitely until you can get a handle on what player feedback is, on what
'cause they don't
players
have
are
no-
actually
yeah, they
looking
have
for,
no
until you
player
can actually get
feedback
some
or gonna
heroes
get
that people
player
are actually going to
feedback.
be interested in. Now, I could be wrong. For some odd reason, this could come to release and it ends up being the best game ever because these guys just somehow found.
A lot of my YouTube audiences and my Twitch audiences, they're not vibing with the game. That's all I gotta say. And I'm just only a small little blimp or so in the sea of like gamers and content creators that are talking about this game.
Found the perfect mix of mechanics and gameplay, I guess. I'm not really too sure, but looking at the state of the discourse, the feeling that I got from watching that trailer, this is looking like another game where I'm going to make more money off of it than the game is. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy the video,
That's pretty good, to
subscribe
be
to the
honest.
channel,
That's
like
crazy.
the video,
Who
share
knows?
the
Maybe I
video.
might make more
Share the
than
video
more
with
money
game
compared
developers.
to
No, I'm
them.
kidding.
You know?
I mean, you can, just don't be malicious about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of my YouTube audiences are always like, because I was looking at the comment section for the marathon thing. A lot of people are a little bit skeptical still. They're like, it doesn't really push the needle for me, like for the game itself. You know, I'd rather see some games before it comes out and everything like that. So, who is we? I rock with the game. No, you don't. Shut up. No, you do not. Anyways, that's the end of the video. You guys can comment, like, subscribe, do all that fancy jazzy stuff. Honestly, if my YouTube audiences wants me to play the I was gonna say Concord game. Anyways, if you guys want me to play the High Guard game, and like if you guys want to see like actual like gameplay and like how I feel about the game itself, I'll upload it over the weekends, like on a Friday or Saturday or something like that. And then you guys can tell I can tell you guys like my true opinion, jokes aside and everything like that. I'll give it, if you guys want it, I'll give it a try. I'll give you my what I think about it, what I dislike, what I like about it, and that's kind of basically it. So if you guys really want to, let me know down in the comment section down below, and leave a like or so on the video, and I'll see what the reception is on the video itself. I'd be very curious to see what everyone thinks about it. But yeah, anyways, that's the end of the video, and we're gonna see what happens at the end of January, to be honest. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Wait a second. When is High Guard coming out? So it's coming out on the 26th, right? Okay. When is fuck, what is the name? What is the name of that one game again? Okay, yeah, I remember now. The 30th. Isn't that the same week? It is. It is the same week. I think people are going to be playing Code Vein 2, in my personal opinion, on that same week, in my personal opinion. That's all I got to say. Yeah. It's literally the same week as Code Vein 2 when it comes out. That's wild to see that. So, but yeah. Anyways, that's the end of the video. And, it's not going to do very well. In peace.